Hello everybody, Frankie Dave back again on YouTube. Okay fellas, today on YouTube for today, I broke out again, went down to the hobby shop, and I bought a bunch of kits today. I bought me 8 in total, and after looking at some of these World War I collections, a lot of you great fellows out there are building, especially Craig Huff, he gave me an idea. He inspired me more or less in getting involved in these World War I biplanes. So in between drying sessions and parts being dried during the paint and gluing and everything like that, I'll sneak in a couple of these kits and start working on them, and just keep a group build going on, but I want to try to shut down these group builds so I can be able to finish up what I have on my plate. But there's always, you got to break up the monotony somehow, so you might as well get involved in some kind of a group build just to kind of smooth up the edges a little bit. And so anyway, fellas, I went down to the hobby shop, went down to see Russ down there at Spinny's hobby shop, and he said, "Hey Frank," he says, "I got a bunch of World War I planes here you may interest you. They just came in today." So he held a collection. It's by Rodin. Now, from my understanding, Rodin, they make some pretty good kits. They're not too bad. I only built 2 Rodin kits. I built the, matter of fact, it was for, I think Speedy 197's 1960 aircraft group build, and Cold War aircraft, I think it was. And I used my Glowmaster, my C-119 Glowmaster. That was a 1/144 scale kit. Done by Rodin. I recollect to the construction wise, it was a good kit. And there were some fit issues there. I wasn't too impressed with the kit in general, but it's a Glowmaster. It turned out to like the way I wanted it, and felt that's the only way you can do it. So I was kind of pessimistic about that kit in the first place. And the second one is a 1/48 scale range. Rodin does. It's a World War I aircraft. I got the Bristol Brisfit, those Bristol fighter, we call it, the F2B. That was indeed a very, very superb kit. I mean, that blew that Glowmaster right off the page. And I was very, very highly impressed with that kit. And I got somewhere down below in my basement, tucked away in the box somewhere. I may show that one of these days when I was building it fast whenever I'm taking ocean. Anyway, folks, getting back to these kits over here, I was looking at Craig Huff's final reveal of his end of the group build that he hosted on the World War I biplanes. He had an F2B Bristol fighter, and he also had a Sopwith camo, and I believe he also had an RE and SC-5A Royal Aircraft. I think he had those mounted on overlooking a grassy field, and they looked nice. I was kind of really inspired with that because I looked at that Bristol Brisfit by Airfix. That was one of Airfix first release kits that they ever done. Now that was a 1957 issue of that kit. Of course, it's been reboxed, same old molds, but just put in a new box. I got the RE-8 reconnaissance ship. That was the second one that they've done, and that kit leaves a lot to the desired, but it's a good kit, and it's a classic in its own right. Now, getting to these new gems by Rodin. Now, what struck my eye, I went back there. I haven't seen this kit in many years, because there was a company at one time years ago during boyhood back in the 1950s. There was a company called ITC, which is Ideal Toy Corporation. And Ideal Toy Corporation, especially all of us World War II baby boomers, remember Ideal. They made all kinds of gimmick toys and stuff like that and such. And they also produced good kits. That's why they went to the model side, ITC. And so ITC went out of business and they sold to a company out of Japan called UPC. Now UPC had a lot of revoxing of different molds that they bought out. And a lot of them were their own kits that they molded themselves, which were again, leaves a lot to desire. And so I do remember this kit here is the Gotha bomber at 1/72nd scale. So this is Rodin's release of the 1/72nd scale Mighty Gotha bomber. This aircraft was a terror back in World War I. Between these and Zeppelins, they really were a terror, and they were a nuisance. And you got a soft-wit pup up there buzzing above it trying to shoot it down. And these were very easy to shoot down. It's like shooting down a turkey buzzard. Very easy to shoot down. And they had an army to defend themselves. You had a rear gunner, and you had your front bombardier observer gunner too. So you only had two guns that could be able to offend the Gotha bomber. And highly likely they were probably escorted by DR1s, D5s, D3s, D2s, and also Fokker D7s. And they had air superiority, and also they had a lot of help too. But anyway, getting back to the kit, I have not opened this kit, guys. I don't have a clue what it looks like inside. I don't know what kind of detail it offers, but I did open up one of the kits, and what I've seen, I was pretty well sold. It had a lot of parts, especially the engine. It had an engine in that kit. It's my Fokker D7. I'll show it to you. That'll be the last kit that I'll show you after these reviews here. And so, like I say, that engine had a lot of parts. So we'll get to it when we get to the kit. Okay, getting back to this big boy right here. This is the Mighty Gotha bomber, 1/72nd scale. Rodin just put this out. It retails for $28. It was marked down to $22. I got $20, which was a good buy. It's a steal of a deal. And the 1/72nd scale, and looks like the color schedule on it looks like it's probably Atlantic. Could be a possibility. It could be the winter camo version on it. I really don't know. When it comes to a lot of camo in World War I, I'm pretty well skeptical on it. And so by judging it all white, this is probably in the winter months. So if I'm wrong, I stand corrected. Anyway, this is a good kit, guys. This will be used as a future group build. I'm quite sure there'll be a lot of World War I stuff coming this way. Perhaps by next year, or the remaining of this year. Okay, I got one dead soldier down. I got one more to go, fellas. These are handsome, gem little kits. And I generally don't build these little squirts just because they're too darn plumb small. But my wife likes them, so I more or less bought them because she likes them small. And we have a few out there on her coffee table that she enjoys very much. And of course, you could build a whole bunch of these. You get a whole collection of these things that take up as little space as possible. Not that much space to cover up. So these do make good subjects for a collection of small space. So I got better ideas. I'm going to put these on wooden pedestals, and have a little grass on there. That'll give it a little character right there. Okay, getting this kit here, folks. This is the number 2 issue right here. This kit's by Rodin. All these kits I got here are by Rodin. And to the detail of these kits, I only opened up one I was pretty impressed with, so I imagine the rest of pertain to the same way as the Fokker D7 kit I opened up. This is a Fokker D, I believe this is the D2, and has beautiful, the color of the thing is very beautiful, very, very pretty. Yellow, red, and purple, and green, and typical World War I camo used for that day. And looks like it's a pretty deadly machine. Again, this kit retails at $13. His price is $10.40. I got it for $8. Cheap, good, quality kit, state of the art. On the back is almost like that of Airfix. New kit, boxing kits I got. Here's the color schedule for this model, and I believe here, these call-outs here are probably either Umbro or Vallejo. I really don't know. I don't have a clue. I haven't got to the instructions. The instructions will probably verify what paints to use, and you go by these numbers. Either that, if you're a good World War I buff, a good World War I connoisseur, you know your stuff, you know, you go to Model Masters or you mix your own. So anyway, folks, this is a good kit, 1/72nd scale by Rodin. It's the Albatross. It's the Albatross D5. I stand corrected, folks. I apologize. I should have known. This is the Albatross D5. This is probably the A model. I thought it was a D2. I've never heard of D2 before. So this is the D5, and this paint schedule. Anyway, folks, this reminds me of the old Revell. Years ago, back in the 1960s, these Revell used to put out these a lot of these. They had a whole World War I collection that they done, and they were 50 cents a piece. And so those models were pretty much robust back then. And from what I can remember back then, the fidelity of detail was pretty great. And of course the models are very, very small. Okay, this concludes number 2 of the stash pile. Put that top of the Gotha if Gotha don't mind. Okay, guys, this is probably one of my favorites right here. This is a handsome gem of an airplane. This is by Royal Aircraft Company, RAF SE-5A. This is, I believe this is by Edward Mark. This is his machine. I don't know what signal corps he comes from, but it's probably illustrated instructions. This is 1/72nd scale. And I built one of these by Revell. I used to call them 50-cent wonders because they cost 50 cents. And they too were very small. And the fidelity of detail in that kit I can remember was very exceptional. And in the back is a paint schedule. It was like all olive drab with buff or yellow beneath the wings. I imagine these call-out colors right here are probably the colors that's used for this kit. Are all call-outs by the numbers. I'm kind of stifled over, quite puzzled, I mean, what brand of paints they use. So, either, like I say, either the Umbro or probably Vallejo. And either one of the two, maybe Tamai, I don't know. Not too certain. We'll get to it, the instructions open up. Okay, guys, again, before we close this is the Rodin 1/72nd scale Royal Aircraft SE-5A. A gem of a ship she is, and she's a very, very potent airplane it is. Over here is the Albatross D2. I stand my own self corrected. There is a D2 model. I figured there was. I just grabbed another D5. It was the A model. Okay, guys, this is again, like I say, these are all Rodin kits. And this is the Albatross D2. And it's a handsome looking plane. It's very pretty. And I like the colors on it. It has browns and greens. There's probably some kind of a buff brown on the back, on the aft side of the fuselage. And probably some kind of a machinery gray used around the cowling and also the hubs of the tires. On the back is a paint schedule it gives you. And here's a color call-out scan. I'm not too sure that these call-outs right here are for this kit or just the range of colors using these number system right here. And I'm not quite certain if there's another version of this in paint schedule wise, or this is the paint schedule that it is. So highly likely it's probably the paint schedule for this kit. A good kit, guys. This is the 1/72nd scale Rodin Albatross D2, and these little World War I planes are treasures to make. Once they get done, I mean they're very admiring. And the hard part about it is rigging these up. So the best way is, folks, is use sprue. Sprue is the best method. And to tighten up that sprue, what you need to do is you just take that glue tip like that and stretch it out a little more. It'll eventually tighten up. Well, monofilament's good too. To tighten up that monofilament, use a heat gun like a hair dryer, but don't get too close because you want to melt that plastic. You want to get just enough heat right there. It'll tighten up that darn the monofilament. So my best suggestion to use for rigging these up is either use fuse wire which is armature wire, the thinnest grade that there is. I like to use fuse wire. The English, they use fuse wire. And number 2, the best method of all is use sprue. And make sure that sprue is, when it's stretched out, it's straight. That's the best way to rig these little jobs at, because like I say, these little interplane and cable struts that support the top and lower wings of this aircraft are very, very brittle, and it don't take much. Use monofilament or use thread, whatever they use. You put any tension on it like that, you'll snap those darn struts like a twig, and all your work is ruined. And you'll hold your head low, and you hate yourself for what has happened. So my best suggestion is either use sprue or take fuse wire and stretch it using a pair of dividers. You measure point A to point B, cut it out real fine on a fresh number 11 blade, and use your glue of choice to the struts, and you'd be surprised how well it comes out. Just a tip, fellas, just a tip. Okay, guys, like I say, it's in Espanol, una más aquí, which means one more here. Matter of fact, that kit retailed for $10.40. I got it for $8. Here's another one here. This is a very beautiful box art of this one here. This is the Albatross D3, and instead of the splendid color of red, which is a flying circus with Goring flew, also Manfred Richtofen flown, this color is probably in some kind of a shade of browns or tans, and looks like some kind of azure blue on the bottom, or arrow blue, and it's probably purple or red, or purple or different shades of brown for the top wing camo. Not certain until you flip the back of it. This is 1/72 scale, again by Rodin. And this is the Albatross D3. It looks like a spad right next to it, smoking. He's ready to crash and burn. And you turn the back of the box is the color schedule again. So I guess Rodin's getting these ideas from Airfix, because Airfix is bringing a lot of these out, especially for the smaller kits in this category and range. They more or less got the color schedule back, so you more or less can read off the box. There's a color schedule for it, guys. Looks like it's greens to dark browns, shades of tan colors. There's the color call-outs over here again. I don't know what they go to. I have a clue. It's probably a whole range of colors that company makes, so I don't know what it is. We'll get to it all up the box. And it's a dandy of a kit. It's going to be a beautiful kit when it's done, especially get it all rigged up. It'll look beautiful. Okay, guys, we get this one here. We get this as the unforgettable Fokker DR1 triplane, Manfred Richthofen's ship. And this right here, I believe, is either Goring's or it's Kemp. It's his machine. And those paint guys looks like he shot down a Sopwith pup. And he more or less, that's his color schedule that he used. As a matter of fact, because a lot of the color schedules that we used back in World War I, they use an area of colors, blotches and hexons of purples, greens, blues, all kinds of colors. You're going to realize back in the European theater, during time of the year, how trees change. Like out in Ohio, you got redwoods. You got your red trees out here. And fall, the leaves turn all different kinds of colors, like red colors and blue colors, all kinds of different colors. And more or less, that's why they probably camouflage those to bleed with Mother Nature. More or less, just for flying low or just being on the ground, so they can't be seen from above. So actually, camouflage does serve a purpose for those type of events. But anyway, this is the Fokker DR1. This aircraft was very brutal to fly. It's very hard to fly, and it takes a very skilled pilot to fly these. The two skilled pilots to fly this aircraft, Manfred Richtofen and also Hermann Goring. Those were the top aviators that mastered this and knew the secrets. of not crashing this airplane. Because the worst way, once you got them off the ground, they're very twitchy. Because you had 3 wings, you only had 2 ailerons. And this plane is not very forgiving if it goes to a stall. And so you got to realize that when they fly these things, if they make one mistake, they're dead. And the DR1 is a very it's a very maneuverable aircraft if it's done well. But like I say, these 2 guys were masters of it. And the another fatality of it too is when, especially when they're landing or takeoff, the airplane would nose over, again killing the pilot and ruining the airplane too. Okay guys, we turn to the back. Again, there's the paints call out the schedule. It looks pretty. Looks like some kind of blue color on the other side. Red on top. It's really all kinds of camo on there. And this camo is very admirable color. I love those colors on it. And like I said, once these aircraft are painted in this kind of a scheme, it really fills the bill. So this is 1/72nd scale by Roden again, folks. This is I built one of these by Airfix back in the 1970s when they bought it out. And I kid you not, it's a very tiny airplane. I think the wingspan of that thing is probably maybe about 3.5 inches, or perhaps even less. It's a tiny little devil. I think it's about the smallest World War I airplane there ever was, next to the Rheindecker. 1/72nd scale Roden kit, folks. Again, this kit retails for $10.40, and that's $13.45. Sold for $10.40. $8. Okay, fellas, here's another one here. This airplane is needing an introduction. This is probably pretty famous worldwide collectors, and it's an aircraft a lot of people, even the kids, even know. This is the Sopwith Camel. This is Captain Brown's camel. This is what he used. And they say he shot down the Richtofen with this. When it came down to it, Richtofen was shot from a ground fire. And since he was closest to him, he took credit for it. So right now, that's still it's in the debate right now. What really killed Manfon and Richtofen. So this is the famous Sopwith Camel. The Sopwith Camel was the successor to the Sopwith Pup. And this thing was a very heavy airplane. Very easy to fly. Very docile. And it was a pilot's airplane. It handled well. And it had very good recovery back in case it ever went to a stall. And of course, it was 2 twin Lewis guns that it had. It was very deadly too. On the back is a paint schedule. Again, looks like it's buff on the undersides. On top is either a dark green or a green drab. Highly likely it's probably a green drab. That's probably the World War I colors that they use. European fronts were the camo and the colors of greens are a lot more different than that in the South Pacific and even the United States of America. So we got 2 different continents, 2 different countries. The soil, everything is different. So guys, this by Roden is a good kit. For the love of life of me, I don't know why this thing is $1 more than the rest of them were. You remember on the kit, the box top, $13.40. This thing is retail at $14. His price is $11.20. My price, $8. So this is the famous Sopwith Camel, and looks like it's going to be a dandy kit. I built one of these too. Matter of fact, it was an Airfix 72 kit that I built. It was 1970s release. It too was very, very, very small. It's about just a tad bigger than a DR1. No bigger, no less. Okay, guys, this is the one here I opened up just to be curious to find out what I'm dealing with. And this is the Fokker D7 by Roden, 1/72nd scale. This is Hermann Göring's Fokker D7, the F model with the white collar camo on it. I don't know if that's his personal color that he liked, or it could be the winter months. That is highly likely. I'm pretty optimistic either in wintertime or this is his favorite color. Hermann Göring is actually the originator of the flying circus. A lot of his aircraft were painted an array of different colors, and he was a great pilot. For his day, he was a very famed, a great aviator, and he was Adolf Hitler's #1 man. This man here was responsible for the modern Luftwaffe, because during post-war World War I Germany, they're like we had. We more or less used until the event of Pearl Harbor. We started having monoplanes, and a lot of Germany had to use a lot of biplanes that they had, and so actually Hermann Göring says we're going to modernize our Air Force, and he did. And they put Willy Messerschmitt to work. He put Heinkel to work. All these German companies, they designed these big Lightning bombers and built a massive Air Force, which is very successful, which did its job well. And so, anyway, this is Hermann Göring's personal aircraft. This is his Fokker D7, the spotted color of white. Turn on the back side of the box right here, fellas. It's all white right there. So, evidently it's white. And I took off the shrink wrap on it just to be curious to find out what was in it. Firstly, it comes out of this box here. I just threw it right back in the box. That's what's going to stay, because I ain't going to go nowhere else but the box with the trash. They gave me this stuff from the squadron. I guess the squadron, more or less, is a distributor of this of rodent kits. And so, what do you need? Go to that website. Everything you need, they got. That's it. Just more money to get you to spend more money. So, I like what comes out of the box. I don't need to go out there and buy all those extra goodies. If you build a good model, build it appropriately right, correct, you don't need that stuff. It's good to have, not to knock it, folks. I wasn't raised with that stuff, you know, and building models. I'm old school all the way. And the only time I use photo etch, if it comes in that kit, I will use it. Because I paid for it. I will use it. Evidently for that, to bring us up a tad more than what's more, spend another 30, 40 bucks on copper part and brass parts like that, I don't see no point in buying it. Okay guys, I didn't open up this kit. No, I hadn't gotten the baggies right here. But I will give you a close-up because I got some loose parts in the screws here. I'm afraid if one of these parts get loose, fall to the floor, either me, I'll step on it, or the carpet monster will get it, or it'll just be there until eternity and never will be found again. So, only way I'll be able to show this kit appropriately, I'll make an inbox review of it and make sure I won't lose none of the parts. And I was pondering on the moment about Craig Huff. He has a I was thinking about going ahead and doing another entry in his group build, since we're on the subject of World War I aircraft, and he says, Frank, go ahead, take all the time you need. Go ahead and whatever time you need, because you know, like I said, I got a lot on my plate right now. I'm trying to finish up what I got started. So this Monday, I'll have 2 videos out, and these 2 videos, I'll have one on my Arizona, because I'm going to start my USS Arizona, and I will pick up after I left off from the last video and make a video of that. Then I'm going to get the keel and the whole frame all laid out for the Titanic. I'll make a video of that. So in between the Arizona and the Titanic build, during times the parts are drying, and let them set for a while, I'll go to my short Sunderland, work on it for a while, make a video of that. In between all these builds, I'll go ahead into this and Craig Huff's World War group build. I will do a video. I'll do an inbox video tomorrow on this. Right after my Junkers 52 I'm doing. I got a video of that too, will be coming tomorrow. So don't miss that video, folks. I'll have that video of that tomorrow. I'll make it dry. I have the tail feathers on, so it's starting to look like a Junkers 52 Teddy Jew. So I have a video of that in, and I'll make an inbox video of this too. So I got 2 videos going tomorrow, so I'll keep you guys busy. And of course I'll be busy. Okay, folks, getting back to this kit. Now, the decals will give you a very, very good decals. What I can see, they're very, very good decals. They give you different versions of decals. They give you a Hermann Göring starred bar up here. And I'm not sure if this is Russian or what. And you got red dots on there and look like meatballs and looks like Italian markings on there. I'm not too sure. Iraqi. I don't know what it was. What they used. Pretty dumb and dumber when it comes to that, folks. All I know is that remember these things are all German, so that's what it's going to be. It's going to be Hermann Göring's machine. I have not picked up the instructions again, the fears of losing parts out of the baggie here, and we'll give you a little close-up view as best I can of the contents of parts inside this little baggie right here. As far as I can see, this is a very, very great kit. Now, this is what I really enjoyed. And so this told me that best of these kits that I bought, I just showed you fellas, so got treated the same way this kit's treated. There's exactly almost 40 parts. 40 parts to this motor right here. And this motor is no bigger than 3/4 of an inch long and 1/72 scale. All these parts go with that little small engine. Just think. They probably got feather-edge parts and stuff like that. Unbelievable. You got to be a brain surgeon to do all this stuff. So anyway, guys, this is a small aircraft. The wingspan of this looks like it's about 4 1/4 inches long. Fuselage length is probably about 4 inches. And it's a very, very high detailed aircraft. Judging the wings and the fuselage, it's got textured wing fabric on it. And it's going to be a beautiful airplane when it's finished. Very, very highly detailed. That'll be that, folks. That concludes this. So tomorrow, after I make a video of my Junkers 52, I'll make an inbox review of this. And hopefully I'll be able to get started on this probably maybe next week sometime. But anyway, folks, the way it goes down to my goal, my schedule is right now is by Monday I'm going to go ahead and work on my Arizona, and I'll go ahead and take off when I left off. And I think it was the funnel was the last part I worked on, and that's got to be primed and painted. And I got a lot of stuff going on, folks. And so I got that going. When that's drying, I'll go ahead and lay out the keel and the frame of the Titanic, make a video of that. And between, like I said before a while ago, you know, in between time for it to dry on both sides, I'll go ahead and work on my short sunroof over here, get some more skins on her, and work on this. This airplane probably take me about 3 weeks to build. This little tiny squirt will be 3 weeks. And well, I guess this could be built in hours or a weekend perhaps, but the reason why it takes so long, I got plans to do a lot of detail work to it. Also, I got to do rigging on it and everything. So it's a dandy little model. Okay, folks, that concludes my 8 entries for the stash from WW1 collections. And these are dandy little kits. And one thing good about these little parts behind me, you can build as many as you want without taking too much room. If you got a 4 foot square base, and you put these on top of that base, you'd be surprised how many you can get on there. A lot. Okay, gang, this Frankie day is getting tired. My eyeballs are getting heavy. I'm ready to go to sleep. Tomorrow's a big day. I got to toil. And that'll be that. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. May God bless. And please subscribe. And stay tuned for 2 double back videos. And box review for the Poker D7. And also an update from my Tanty Jew. Okay, boys, this is Frankie Day signing off, getting out of here right now. You guys take care of yourselves. Catch you next video, boys. Be good.